Hello and welcome. Today we're going to tackle one of the most important and honestly one of the most misunderstood hormones in your entire body, estradiol. So get ready because pretty much everything you think you know about it is probably about to get turned on its head.
So, what's the deal with this stuff? On the one hand, you hear people talk about it like it's this dangerous chemical that you should avoid like the plague. But then, on the other hand, there's all this data suggesting it might just be the key to a longer, healthier life. It's a paradox, right? And that's exactly what we're going to unravel today.
I mean, just look at this. For decades, the mainstream medical advice has been drilled into our heads. Lowest dose for the shortest time possible. But then you look at the actual source data from long-term studies, and what does it say? The complete opposite. The lowest risk of death was found in women who used estrogen for over 15 years. That's not a small difference. That's a gigantic disconnect. It really makes you wonder why.
Well, to even begin to understand that disconnect, we first have to completely redefine what estradiol even is. It's been kind of pigeonholed for years as just a simple sex hormone, but its real job is so much bigger, so much more profound. It's more like a master regulator for your entire body.
Here's really how we should be thinking about it. Estradiol is a steroid hormone. It's made from cholesterol, just like testosterone and even vitamin D. And it is absolutely essential for managing your energy, keeping your mitochondria, the little power plants inside your cells, healthy, and keeping inflammation in check. And get this, that's true for both women and men. Just take a look at this list. Estradiol is doing incredibly important work all over the place. It's protecting those mitochondria, which is central to fighting off age-related diseases. It's keeping the lining of your blood vessels smooth and healthy. It's telling your body how to store fat properly. It's calming down inflammation in your brain. And it even helps your cells live longer by protecting your telomeres. Those little caps on the ends of your DNA. Think of them like the little plastic tips on your shoelaces. This isn't just about reproduction. This is literally about survival.
And this quote from Dr. Ben Bickman just nails one of its most important jobs. He points out that estradiol acts like a traffic cop for fat. It directs it to be stored under the skin, that subcutaneous fat, which is a safe place, instead of letting it pile up around your internal organs as dangerous visceral fat, the kind that leads to insulin resistance and heart disease. It sends fat to the right neighborhood.
Okay, so now that we have a better idea of what it's supposed to do, let's just dive right in and tackle the fears head-on. This is where decades of bad information have really done a ton of damage, and we're going to use the data to set the record straight.
Here it is, the big one. The fear that has scared millions of women away from ever considering hormone therapy. But what if the science actually points in the exact opposite direction? What if the real problem isn't the hormone, but the lack of it?
Now this is going to flip the script, so follow me here. The data shows the problem doesn't start with too much estrogen in your system, it starts with an estrogen deficiency. When you lose estrogen, your metabolism goes haywire, and that leads to insulin resistance. Then, your body starts shoving extra glucose into your breast cells, storing it as fat. It's that toxic mix of high fat and high insulin inside the cell that flips on an enzyme called aromatase. And you can think of aromatase as a little rogue estrogen factory, and it starts churning out massive amounts of estrogen right there on site, which is what can drive cancer. So let me just say that again, because this is the single most important takeaway. The danger isn't the healthy, normal level of estradiol circulating in your blood that you get from therapy. The danger is the out-of-control, localized estrogen factory that got switched on by the metabolic chaos that was created by having too little estrogen in the first place. And that brings us right back to this incredible number. When you understand that estradiol's job is to prevent that metabolic chaos, it suddenly makes perfect sense why long-term use, we're talking over 15 years, is linked to the lowest risk of dying from any cause. It's not causing the problem, it's preventing it.
The source material really puts it perfectly with this question. You kind of have to ask.
If the data shows again and again that long-term therapy is linked to longer life, why are we so afraid of it?
Why is the default advice still to stop it as soon as you can?
All right, but let's get into another really surprising twist in this story. How you take it matters a lot. The most common way it's prescribed today, through the skin or transdermal, might actually be less protective for your heart than the oral method that most doctors have been told to avoid. Check out this data. Studies are showing that oral estradiol actually slows down or even decreases plaque buildup in your arteries and reduces that dangerous fat around the heart. The transdermal route, on the other hand, seems to increase it. So why is the skin patch preferred?
Well, it all comes back to a fear of blood clots. But here's the crucial detail that gets lost. That clot risk was linked to Premarin, an old drug made from horse urine, not modern bioidentical oral estradiol, which is exactly the same molecule your own body makes. That's a huge distinction that just gets ignored all the time.
And hey, if you're a guy watching this and thinking, this doesn't apply to me, think again. Estradiol is absolutely critical for men's health. In fact, low levels in men are linked to a higher risk of heart disease, dementia, and even death.
This chart just says it all, doesn't it? A healthy man is walking around with an estradiol level of over 75. A post-menopausal woman who's not on therapy, her level is practically 0. So healthy men actually have way more estradiol than millions of women do. It's not a female hormone, it is a human hormone, and it's essential for things like strong bones and brain health in everybody.
So when you put all these pieces together, a completely new picture starts to form. We really need to stop thinking of estradiol as just a short-term fix for hot flashes and start seeing it for what it truly is, a foundational building block for healthy aging and longevity.
And this isn't just some abstract idea. We can see it happening at the cellular level. This quote from the source material is powerful. The loss of estrogen literally speeds up biological aging, all the way down to shortening those protective caps on our DNA, our telomeres. So restoring it isn't just about feeling better today, it's about aging slower tomorrow. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. For decades, we have been completely obsessed with the potential risks of taking a hormone. But what if we've been asking the wrong question this whole time? What if the greatest, most definite harm doesn't come from the hormone at all, but from its absence? If this deep dive has been helpful for you and you want to keep learning more about hormone optimization and metabolic health, make sure you subscribe and follow our channel. We've got a lot more like this coming your way.
Thanks so much for watching this Within You Health production.